What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pueblo County Sports Experience podcast. My name is Devin Meyer, and today we're joined with a couple of band kids from the third best band in the state of Colorado, Malia Muller and Alana Mills. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Belina has some gifts for you.
Yes, here you guys go. There's one for each of you there.
Thank
Yes.
And if you guys could tell, there was a little bit of a theme today. Halloween. Happy
Yes.
Halloween, Belina.
Thanks. Yeah, happy Halloween to all the viewers out there.
I
got tricked into dressing up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine.
I asked them if they wanted to, and if they said yes, then I would have. But
Wait, you actually tricked me?
yeah.
I literally am gonna fight you. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I asked them. They said no, and then you texted me, and I was like, yeah, because it'd be funny. And look, you look great, bro.
Well, it's okay. It's fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
see, it fits in. Happy Halloween to everybody watching. So you guys went to band yesterday, right?
Or
Or
Monday.
Monday was the last day of band. You guys got third. What was that like?
It was really fun, and it's kind of crazy because like going into state, we're like our region champions, and so a lot of the other schools we haven't even been like competed next to them. So no judge has seen us and then seen them. So we really had no idea like going into how we were going to do against them.
Yeah.
Going in, we knew in our hearts that we were like a good band, but you can see these scores, but until you see the other shows, you have no idea what you're competing with.
Were there any other shows that like stood out to you guys?
Well, the sad thing is that when you are like a top band, you don't get to watch any other bands.
Really?
Like, yeah. So my freshman year, the crazy thing about this band is my freshman year, we made finals. Like the band before that didn't even get to go to state. And then my freshman year, we got 8th in state, and then we got 3rd. And so like, I remember though my freshman year, we watched bands all the time because like you had the time. It's like now we warm up while all the bands are going, and then we perform, and then it's awards immediately. So we got to watch a lot of two-way bands, which those were cool, but
What are two-way bands?
different class, just a different class. Yeah.
So, like, what was the process of like the start of band season for this year that ended up really well?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, really at the beginning of last year. Okay. So like in March, we find out what our show is. And then June, like 6th or 7th, right out, we have a mini band camp, and we basically see all of our freshmen and we get them all the music. So hopefully they'll work on it.
Yeah, it's rare that everybody comes into band camp knowing the music, but it's still exciting, especially for new band members to come in with like, oh, I'm part of a band now. I have the music. So
And you try to build relationship, gets phone numbers, because the thing about band is that everybody's in. There's no tryout. You don't even have to know how to play an instrument. You show up, you're in. Like there's no tryout, and it's so diverse because of that. You're really like your freshmen are as good as your seniors because there's just no way to balance it out. And so then like mid-July, we have band camp for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Aren't your percussion practicing the whole summer at least twice a week? Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, they're practicing because percussion plays the whole show. So it's like woodwinds play like 60-70%, brass play only like 50 to 40%, and percussion plays the whole entire time, and it's all memorized.
Yeah.
And then so our band camps are so much different than every other Pueblo's band camps because we only go to like 7 to 12, and it's a 3-week process. And I know that Central went 7 to 6 p.m.
What?
Really?
Yeah, they were insane.
That sounds horrible.
That might not be the right numbers, but it was a good 12 hours. It was 12 hours, I know.
yeah, most other bands put in so much more time than we ever have.
And I
at
think
band
you guys
camps.
put in a lot of time, so that's really surprising to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it pretty easy, but I just think we've learned to be really efficient with our time.
That makes sense.
So.
Do you guys play any instruments?
I play the flute.
Oh, okay. Wait, I saw that. Okay.
Yeah. And then I play the mellophone, but I actually had to switch this year because our band got too big, and you can't sound good if you don't have enough low sounds. So I said, okay, I'll play the sousaphone. So we had enough sounds.
What's the sousaphone?
It's the really big tuba that wraps around your body.
Okay.
Yeah, it was awful.
Is it hard carrying that?
Yeah,
stuff?
And it's like,
or is it like built to where it's like
it's
no pressure? It's
see,
just like all on your shoulder or something.
Yeah, so the pressure's all on your shoulder. Yeah,
Okay.
it really sucks. It's honestly not that like I feel like you get used to the heaviness, but you don't get used to the pain of just like, oh my God. Like we could still carry it if it just like rotated around, like stress in other parts. But yeah.
All right. Well, you guys both dance as well. What's it like having to balance both going to these band practices, dance practice, all in the same season? Band is like big, but I also know dance is strict.
Yeah.
So what's that like?
I don't know. It's chaotic, and having to balance those practice times between each other, usually they overlap. So you have to split your time, especially when it comes to end of marching season and practices. You have to be at every single one if you want to get better. But I don't know. I almost live for that like adrenaline rush of like going back and forth between them. I think that's one of my favorite parts about it.
And then you still go to dance afterwards.
Oh yeah.
At the studio.
Yeah.
So
Busy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and it's not just like it's not just us. There's the amount of kids that do band and a sport is like actually like there's just so many, and it's cool that Muller lets us do that because there's a lot of bands that don't. Like Fountain Fort Carson, I don't know if you guys saw their show.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they're fantastic, but their whole entire marching band is after school. It is its own sport. They do not practice during school time.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool that we have the opportunity to do both.
Does it ever get like difficult because there's a bunch of kids missing this day and then another day, so you're like one group's behind but the other group's ahead? Like how do you manage that?
Well, near the end of the season is what's like fresh in my mind. We had to start filling the gaps between like formations, and like if you don't show up to rehearsal, like you're out.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to work around that because you can't have a good show if you've got like formations that are off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what really showed in our scores at state.
Oh, okay.
Because it scored individual, ensemble, and then general effect, and you have those for each, like what you're watching, how you're playing, and then. But our individual scores were so low, and it's just like, but that's just because we give everybody the opportunity to do other things and not just. But
so, what do you like? So, is the only way to change that and to have it go up is to stop letting people do that, or is there anything else you could do?
like sadly, we're gonna have to. Mueller's gonna have to make the decision to probably make the band smaller because we're a big band for 3A. Like I think we were the biggest band in the finals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Devlin was
Devlin
pretty
bigger?
big. Yeah, they were probably about the same size as you.
But yeah, there's only one way to really solve that issue, and it's kind of sad.
Having a big band is a blessing and a curse just because you're able to do so much more visual wise and with your music. But when you have a bigger band and people are missing, it'll work against you too.
That makes sense.
I just wanted to ask where the inspiration came for the Serengeti theme of this year's performance, because I thought it was really. At first, I thought it was wonky. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a little weird.
We all think it's wonky
because it was just a bunch of there's the lyrics, and especially because do both of you guys do?
No, I sing.
You sing.
She's just solos the whole entire show.
Oh yeah. Well, and just hearing that, I was like, I feel like I can never memorize those words because they're not words to me. They're more like sounds. So what happened there? What came up with the idea for this performance?
So, Mueller has to start thinking about the show now, and it's a process. So our music writer and our what do you call? Why can't I think of the word? Marching writer, drill, our drill writer. They're gone. Our drill writer lives in Europe. I know for sure. His mom is actually our pianist in choir, so we have that connection. But Mueller starts thinking about shows right away, and I know that the song inspiration came from when he worked at Centennial, because they did that song combined with the choir and band, and so I know that's how it came. But we actually did Baba Yetu, which is what the song is called, for graduation. So I don't know if you guys caught on, but we were actually working on that song for a while.
I did not know that.
It's a year-round thing.
Yeah, and so I know that he just thinks of these things on the spot, and then he just collaborates. But we don't ever get to know the show till March because it's marching band. So he announces the show in March usually.
Yeah.
And then we just get going. But actually, Baba Yetu is the Lord's Prayer in Swahili.
Oh, okay.
So that was a real fun connection just to make, and actually in our judges' tapes, while they're recording and talking about it, one of the judges started to cry at state.
Oh, that's so,
Like when he heard the song start play, you hear him get all teared up. It's cool to know that yes, our show didn't win, but it like affected people.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will remember that show for sure because it's not just a band that's good on a field. It's like it's a whole musical. That's a production.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I cried the first time I watched it. It got me tearing up. But yeah. So I also heard some not like hate, but some people at competitions and stuff saying like you guys weren't like the singing shouldn't be part of the show because it was a band. Like, had you guys ever heard that before?
Well, my sophomore year zombie show,
yeah,
I sang in that one.
Yeah, I've seen singing in like all of them.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's like because it's not like we invented that. Fountain Fort Carson had singing in theirs.
Yeah, we had a singer last year too.
Yeah, we had a singer last year too.
I've seen singing every single year, but I heard like
we did
people
bring
at
a whole
competitions.
choir.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's what brought it, but I mean, we also had 7th graders in our color guard.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like our color guard, Avery Villapondo, Miss Villapondo's daughter, and then Grace Pinanelli, they all danced together, but they joined our color guard and they added so much.
Yeah, so we had connections through Miss V.
It is. I was in Grim Tales my 8th grade year. I was Little Red Riding Hood. I didn't do anything. I just ran around the field with a basket, but I was part of it.
That's
so
funny.
I don't know why it's legal. I'll have to ask my dad, but yeah, you're allowed to do band.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's like band is just so diverse. Like everybody is welcome and it's such like a safe environment, I would like to say. Just because everybody can just let loose. There is no judgment. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're not perfect, it's not like, oh my gosh, you got to be perfect. It's like, okay, let me help you.
That's good. That's a really good environment.
Yeah. So it's like really sad that it's like, it's gone. It's done for me. I get no more of that.
Yeah, that is sad.
You're not going to be like band in college?
I will, but band in college is so different. You don't put on these productions. It's mainly just football halftimes and pop music. So it's, I think it'll be there, but I don't think it'll be the same.
So wait, do you know what college you're gonna go to?
I don't. I think I'm gonna go to CSU, but like I don't know.
CSUP?
No, Fort Collins.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I want to get in that marching band.
Oh, you want that D1
I
marching
want that
band?
D1 marching band experience. Yes.
Okay, that'd still be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do they give out scholarships for that?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but I mainly will try to get a scholarship in my vocal singing with being a music ed. I'm gonna do music. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Let's see. What is like the hardest part about that show? Because it looks hard to set up and like it feels like it's kind of broken up into parts, right? There's the first part where it's like mostly just the band, and then you get like Alana comes on stage and then like vocals come in. So like what is like the hardest part about it?
I think our first biggest challenge that we experienced was just working with a prop as massive as the stage, having to put it together, and we only have a certain amount of time to put everything out
Isn't it
on the
like
field.
15 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's 13.
Yeah.
I want to say, and then our show was like 5 minutes something, and so yeah,
it's a race against time. So doing props like that is risky, but having a big band helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, the biggest challenge of the show, I don't know. I had solos this year, which is really scary, having to perform in front of a lot of people. And it's so much different than just playing with the rest of your band. Being mic'd up, being able to hear yourself play, it's vulnerable. So it's exciting, but it is scary. I think as the season goes on, you start to enjoy it a little more than just nerves. But
yeah, I want to add something to that. When Mueller was writing the show, we didn't even know Alana was going to be here this year. And so it was a huge
Wait,
huge
why weren't
risk.
you going to be here this year?
I wasn't sure if I was moving schools or not.
Yeah.
Why would you move schools?
Just family, job stuff. If I would have moved schools,
Yeah. So we got really lucky that she stayed and she like saved the show. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Alana runs the show basically. Like you even hear the judges, they're like, oh, the flute player is bringing everyone here. And so it's like the whole show revolves around her.
Yeah,
and
she kills her parts.
We got a fun comment that was like, oh, the flute player's a rock star kid. Like, because they see her play and then they see her dance.
Yeah, some of my favorite comments this season, I think, are definitely whenever I put down my flute and start dancing with Peyton, and it's just our little dance duet on the field and everything else is going on behind us. But there's always a judge right in front of us, and their comments are always like, oh, she can dance too. And I don't know, it's kind of a cool feeling.
So, like, talking about the judges, can you guys hear them when they're like, you can't hear them? Okay. Because I always like see them walking, and sometimes they're really close or they're walking through you guys, and I just don't know how you guys like handle that, or if you could hear them. Because
yeah, I think my freshman year,
walk through?
my freshman year, there was a judge. We're told to run over the judges.
Yeah.
If they're in our way, you step on them. Which is my freshman year, I stepped on a judge, and I think that was like one of my favorite memories because I was like, guys, I think I just stepped on a judge. But they're on the field with you and they're talking into like their phones, into these recordings while you're playing. And I play a quiet enough instrument that sometimes I can hear the comments. And especially on the parts where I'm not playing, you can hear exactly. And so it also kind of gets in your head sometimes too. If you can hear the critiques that they're saying, you're like, oh no.
I guess it depends also where you're on the field, because Alana's like woodwind and on brass. So a lot of times I'm in the back and in the middle, and the woodwinds a lot are in the front and on the edges. And but it's funny listening to those. You catch them doing some stuff, like the amount of times we get tapes and then there's a fart that goes off. It's so funny, like, because you hear this and you're like, oh wow, you can hear everything they're saying.
Funny.
It's so funny. It's like my favorite part. It's like, all right, who's gonna do something silly?
So you guys usually, like, you have prelims and then finals at most competitions, right? And you get the recordings between those two shows. Like, do you listen to them then and then change stuff? Or like, what do you do with the recordings? Or do you wait until after?
I mean, there's only so much you can change in such a short amount of times. But it's really encouraged to get with your section and listen and try to like if there's something you can fix, like, hey, baritone's horn angle was bad. Like, hey guys, make sure that stays up this time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. At most competitions throughout our season, especially at the beginning, we only have one like single performances. But especially at our state performance, you want to be able to change those things. You want to be able to watch the video and be like, okay, well, I'm going to get in step here. I'm going to fix my horn angle here. But it's kind of unrealistic to assume that everything's going to change within that.
So is there anything like, if there were some kids that were like questioning what school to go to and what would kind of, they want to play band, of course, what would be kind of your guys' selling point on why they should come to county?
Well, selling point is we're the best at Pueblo by far. Like, no hate to the other schools, but I mean, we are. Like, we work hard and have fun.
Yeah.
I think that's important too. Like, it's not fun to be in a band that's not as good.
We always talk about how it's fun to be in a good band, which it really is, because it's the same with any sport. It's fun to be good. It's fun to say you're part of a winning sport. And so but even beyond the point of just the fact that we're good, you see the things that we put on these fields. And I think our show really stands out because we put emotion into it too. Yeah. It's not just these kids marching back and forth on a field playing their music, but it's like we put soul into it. There's heart in our show. And so I really think if that's what you're looking for and you're looking at bands to go to, I think it's important to find somewhere you're going to feel like you belong to. So
yeah, it's really fun, like, after these competitions to see like social media and the comments, because Mueller saw one and it wasn't even our post. It was some random post and he saw the comments. And some parents of a receiver at Central saw the performance on Friday, a completely different direction, and was like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, and so it's like, that's good enough feeling, you know, to be in it.
Do you have any ideas for what the theme is going to be next year?
I have so many ideas. Like, it is my life creating these ideas. Like, I don't know. I really want to do. Like, it's fun to think of silly shows. Yeah. But I think Alana hates this idea. I think a Fortnite or like Minecraft thing would go so, I think, because like, you know, when you're a childhood, like your childhood and then you're older and then you hear a song, it's like, it triggers something in you. And then you're like, oh, remember when life is easy and happy?
Yeah, that would make me sad.
Alana's crying while doing that.
Or I think we would call the show the Trio Dip. You know, like when you go to a Mexican restaurant and you get like a trio dip as an appetizer, And so like each movement would be like the queso, the guac, and then the salsa. So
Okay.
so like during the guac, we could play the guac, amole, guac, guac. And then and the nacho cheese would be like, I feel like this slow melody and be like stringy, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And then the last one would just be salsa music.
All right.
Wouldn't that be so cool? I think that'd be epic.
I think we'd get made fun of.
Yeah. What's like? Do you have ideas, Alana?
I don't know. And I don't know. I also don't want to get my hopes up because this year's show was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I say that
Yeah.
every year. Like every year I'm like, this show is so good. And
What
it
was
was
last
so
year?
meaningful.
I know the year before was Zombie, right?
It was Level Up last year.
So
which
it was like video game themed.
that was really hard. We
Oh.
all had I'm not even gonna lie. I had a terrible attitude because we just came out of this epic zombie show.
Yeah.
Like I watched it yesterday. I was like, wow, that was so
I
cool.
remember the zombie
Yeah.
show. I
Mhm.
don't remember the one from my freshman year, but I remember the zombie show. I didn't remember the level up. Now that you say it, I remember, but it wasn't as memorable.
No, even for my brain, like I skipped like all the freshmen that came in that year. I'm like, you guys are either juniors or freshmen. Like I have no memory of you, but that was because he was like, all right, we're gonna do Level Up. We're gonna act like we're doing ping pong at the beginning of the show, and we were just like, what?
It took
is
me
this?
it took me a while I had to watch that one multiple times to understand and have like someone in band explain to me because I was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
was-
when it's not clean.
When I first saw it with like all the arrows, it made me think of that dancing game that they have at arcades with like
I didn't
where you
forget
do
about
the-
that.
Oh,
But
that
things-
makes
We should've-
sense.
we should have like
You should've told us your
explained it like
ideas.
that.
Yeah, that was a good idea. But I really liked the movement too when we got a drum. That
Uh-huh.
one was
Yeah.
cool.
So you guys got third at state. Do you guys think you should have placed higher?
I honestly, we get the scores and it's like, you know what? No, we are such the underdogs. If you look, like we've done a lot of research on Devlin now.
Mhm.
Their average SAT score is a 1250 something.
What?
Their average attendance is 90%. Like these kids are geniuses. And it's
Yeah.
like to be even able to compete with that is just honestly, it's crazy. And we saw the scores and like general effect, like how the show affected the audience and how it affected them. We placed first and second in those categories. It was just our individual, which
Mm,
I think
Yeah.
there's always going to be a little bit of disappointment with like, oh,
yeah.
we were
Yeah.
so close. But I really think in the grand scheme of things, we don't really care about the scores. We talked about right before we went on. It's not how we place compared to other bands. It's the fact that we're better than we were.
Did you guys
our
beat your
last
Yeah.
score last year?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we scored so high. We got a 70. We got a 77 at prelims, and then we got a 76.7 at finals. I think. And I mean, just last year we were at a 73. Like the band is still like progressing so much, and like as I like to say, it's like all bands are for bands because like the thing about band is that like it's opinion based judged. Like,
yeah.
there's no score, and then there's no defense. Like there are other sports that have no defense, like track, but
Mhm.
then again, it's like you run a certain time, that's your score. A judge didn't like our show, that's gonna show. Like a lot of it, and a lot when the bands are both really good, it really is a toss up.
Yeah.
So
And you guys broke the record for the score twice, right? Like at
Yeah.
regionals, and then you guys broke
Yeah.
it again at state. So that there's a lot of improvement.
yeah,
Our biggest goal was always to beat like our school record, to break that. And when we did that, it's like we just kept breaking it. So
Yeah.
every time we do it, we're like, it almost becomes like less special, but it's still like, wait,
Yeah.
why are we so good?
I
Like,
know.
what is
my
happening?
freshman year, we scored like a 50, 58, and now we're in the
Mhm.
70. Like that's insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
We talk
Is
a lot.
that the highest score that the school's ever scored?
Ever scored in
Oh,
all of
sick.
history.
I think I'm gonna ask one more question. Okay, so it's about Devlin. And I know you just like talked about the
Yeah.
research you've done, but they have won the last 12 out of 13 years, right? Like the only year they haven't won was 2017 when they moved up to 3A. Like, how do you guys stop that? And if I got something wrong there,
No,
just tell
you're
me.
good.
No.
Well, last year, oh my gosh, we were supposed to win last year. I don't care if Devlin's listening. We came in, we hit like our prelims, we were ahead of them. And then finals came, they performed, and then the weather went poof. And when the weather gets bad, the brass turns sharper, flat, or whatever, and then the percussion turns a different. We sounded so bad. Like our
Oh,
state
okay.
show last year, like it was the worst we've
It
ever.
was so bad.
It was so bad.
You get to a point where your hands are so cold that
Like-
you can't move
like-
like you can't play your music
You
anymore.
can ask anyone in band. We started playing and we all just wanted to stop because we weren't mixing and blending. But I mean, whoa, sorry. I mean, at awards, like no hate to Devlin, but this was their reaction when they won a state. Like they won. This
I saw
was
their reaction. They were very mellow. Like you guys celebrated. Like
it looks so professional, but I would want to live in that moment.
Yeah. I was like, but then I was like, you know what? They won it for like ever. Like they're probably just not even phased.
Yeah, because I guess for a lot of them, it would be like
if you were a senior there, you've won every single year you were there.
Yeah. And it's like, where's your drive? Like me and Bianca and like all the other seniors like to be like, nobody knows what it was like to be bad. My freshman year, you go watch that show, we were terrible.
I will never know what it's like to be in a bad band because my freshman year is when everything started going.
They just got third. Like, I don't know what hit, but like we were really bad my freshman year. Like, I remember being at all the competitions, like the regular competitions, they'd be like third. And then we'd be like, oh, yay! Like, we were so excited for that. And I remember my sophomore year, we hit our first competition. And I just remember sitting with a group of my friends. And then we were like, guys, we got a 64. We were like, what? A 64?
Well, I like even watch you guys after you perform each performance, you guys all celebrate. And like no other school does that. Every other school instantly gets off. You guys take those few seconds to celebrate and then you like head off.
I think we've just built that in our culture. Like it's just every single time you scream and you get excited before. You have time. Like if we get a penalty for it, we get a penalty for getting off too late. Like it's worth it to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like that mindset.
Yeah, I think the band has a very good mindset overall.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Devin Meyer. Today I was here with Belina, Malia, and Alana. Go ahead and support the band by just liking the video, share it. Don't forget to subscribe. If we get 400 subscribers by November 1st, I have to sign up for wrestling and Chase has to get a skullet. So don't forget to do that. We'll see you guys later.
Yes, happy Halloween.